and then we inserted it, the guideline, and put it on up.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I think we finished the session. Slightly late, but also due to some technical problems. Thank you very much.
Advanced pediatric forensic robotics surgery in 70 patients. Please.
Mr. Chairman, dear colleagues. Since 2000, in the beginning of the 2000s, robotic surgery in children has been performed, and the first review was in 2013, where the distribution of thoracic procedures was the minimum. After years, we have still that problem that the thoracic region is the very fused area that the robotic surgery is being performed. In this study, we wanted to present our experience of the advanced pediatric thoracic surgery in 17 consecutive patients. Through October 2020 and April 2022, we reviewed our medical records of patients who undergone robotic thoracic surgery, and this is the distribution according to the years. And there were 8 thoracic mass excisions, 6 esophageal surgeries, and 3 miscellaneous patients, one with a partial venous return anomaly, one morgotnia hernia, and one lobectum for bronchiectasis. For thoracic mass excisions, there were 8 patients who was the age between 7 and 17, and if you look at the consult time and the complication rate is better than expected, and the length of hospital stay seems to go down as the learning curve. And for esophageal surgery, there were 6 patients, 4 gastric polyps, and 2 myotonia and door complications for eclasia. And again, as you can see, the length of hospital stay is minimum when you think that you have not a complicated case. And this is the same for the miscellaneous cases. So as a conclusion, pediatric thoracic robotic surgery is applicable, safe and efficient, even in complex cases, and it seems beneficial especially in posterior mediastinal tumors and esophagectomy in corrosive esophageal strictures compared to thoracoscopy. Thank you, and we are expecting you all in Izmir next year.
Thank you very much, Alex. Very nice presentation. Thank you very much. So the next presentation is Sylvia Bissot. So robotic surgery and esophageal junction in children, lesson 7. Padua, Italy.
So good afternoon, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to present you the lessons learned from robotic surgery and gastroesophageal junction in children. I have no conflict of interest to declare. So since we started our pediatric robotic program, the procedures on the gastroesophageal junction were among the most adopted. So standard setting was gradually developed and technical efficacy progressively achieved. So the standard setting is now with supine position with straight legs when it's possible, because as we know, neurologically impaired children is often the patients we perform aniston duplication. And then this sliding pad for 10-grade reverse renderable is included in the standard setting. And as you can see in the scheme, the patient cart is placed on the right side of the patient and the endoscopic stack on the left side if gastroscopy insertion is required. These are some pictures of the OR, so the double console for teaching. If gastroscopy insertion is required, the endoscope is passed through the caries into the stomach. Right after the wrap is passed behind the gastroesophageal junction, and peg insertion is done at the end of the operation. Here you can see the progression of trocar positioning with the camera in the C position and two other robotic trocars on the right and on the left. With three, you can see another robotic trocar for liver retraction, and with A, the accessory trocar for the air seal and stomach retraction. Of course, standardization must be adapted to the peculiarity of the situations. So we performed 18 procedures, and as you can see in the graph, the docking time progressively decreased as the total operative time. In conclusion, we can say repeated procedures can permit us to be trained and to standardize the setting in order to progress to more complex procedures and technically demanding standard procedures such as reduction and heliotomy. I think that the dexterity and precision of movement, the 3D vision, and the bleeding reduction allowed us to limit operative time and, especially in this situation, finish safely the procedure. Thank you.
Thank you a lot for your presentation. The next one is from Florence. The title is Efficacy of Laparoscopic Training in Improving Technical Skills among Pediatric Surgery Residents. Francesca, she will speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. I'm really happy to be here to present you our work. I'm Francesca Gigole and I'm a resident in pediatric surgery from Florence. As we all know, pediatric surgery has changed a lot over the last years. We are facing a decrease in the number of births. On the left, you can see a graph showing births per year in Italy from the early 2000s, in which we had more than 500,000 births per year. And on the right, the 2020, in which we had a little above 400,000 births per year. In Italy, this is combined with an increase in the number of residents, which went from 5,000 in 2015 to around 17,000 in 2021. So this standard surgical training method, C1, D1, teach one, is no longer applicable, as we are all facing an increased complexity in surgical laparoscopic procedures. So we have to find alternative training opportunities in order for to let trainees and residents acquire advanced surgical skills and ensure patient safety. We performed training. Okay. The aim of our study was understanding if there was a laparoscopic improvement in laparoscopic knotting after a structured laparoscopic program. And we gathered 8 pediatric residents in pediatric surgery who were laparoscopy naive, meaning that they have been part in less than 50 laparoscopic procedures. We asked them to train for at least 15 minutes a day over the course of 20 days using the Lateral Advanced Trainer Simulator, which you can see on the right. The first few tries were just to getting used to simulation, so we did some basic exercises like moving marbles, understanding how to use instruments and moving inside the space and getting used to simulation. We tried some needle handling and the dancing needle technique, and afterwards we moved to laparoscopic knotting. We performed 11 attempts over the course of 20 days, and we calculated pre- and post-training knotting time. The first knot took a median of 392 seconds to be performed, and the time dropped to 175 seconds on the last attempt, thus achieving our goal, which was performing the laparoscopic knot with the surgeon's knot under 180 seconds. So 7 out of 8 residents succeeded after a median of 8 tries, and the timing before and after training was found to be statistically significant. So in our opinion, this study, even with its limitation, mainly the low number of participants, showed the visibility of laparoscopic simulation and the potentiality of these tools that let us acquire even advanced surgical skills, even with limited resources. Laparoscopic simulation can help shorten the learning curve and acquire advanced skills ensuring patient safety. So in our opinion, and that's what we're trying to do, a formal laparoscopic simulation curriculum should be mandatory for pediatric surgery residents in Italy. Thank you for your attention, and we hope to see you all soon in Florence.
Very important situation and training. So our next speaker is the team of scientists in France. So he will talk about the initial application of laparoscopic 5mm stapler in laparoscopic and gestational research.
Good afternoon. I have no conflict to declare. Operating in small spaces present physical constraints and can be even more challenging in minimally invasive operation. It is hard that new technology as primary entity for pediatric surgery, but technology is progressing. Recently, a 5mm stapler was approved for use in general surgery and pediatric surgery. The literature being poor on the subject, but the main indications are duodenal atresia, resection and fistula in aorta malformation, and intestinal resection, but also in the context of lobectomy and wide resection. I present duodenal atresia using this system. The patient is placed in the table in supine position. A camera port was placed through the incision for 5mm laparoscope, 12mm trocar was placed in the left and right lower caverns. We notified the proximal and distal duodenum, proximal jejunum, the suture was placed between the lateral aspect of the dilated duodenal approach. Endotomy were performed using the scope seizure at the level of the stage suture. After we changed the 3mm trocar by the 5mm trocar, and just right 5mm stapler was introduced with the incision in the territory of the anion portion of the duodenum. You can see the stapling device was activating correctly side to side. We closed their endotomy with the ring 50 polyclatin surgery. Our retrospective child review was conducted to identify cases in which the 5mm stapler was implanted. Acquisition of the equipment in 2019 and surgery in 2022. We performed 14 procedures, 6 duodenal atresia, and 8 pulmonary procedures. The median weight was 3 kilograms for duodenal atresia and 7 kilograms for laparoscopic surgery, which corresponding to the median age of 1 day for duodenal atresia and 6 months for laparoscopic surgery. We report one stenosis at the level where endotomy was closed by a rolling suture. The stapler is faster and creates a larger diameter anastomosis for bizarre indications and safe for laparoscopic surgery. Thank you.
Next presentation is from Turkey. Baran Toker is presenting. The title is How to Improve the Image Recognition for Better Notation of Phonetical Image in AI Studies.
Thank you, dear colleagues in the press. I would like to talk about one of the main fields of artificial intelligence, deep learning studies, how we can implement this studies in the pediatric surgery. The title is How to Improve the Image Recognition by Better Notation of Medical Image in Artificial Intelligence Studies. It's closed. What is deep neural network? It's a multi-layer computational system having a set of interconnected processing elements with autodidactic quality. Actually, this is something for engineer, but maybe you have difficulty understanding what it means. As a pediatric surgeon, we cannot understand. What it means, if you just, as an input, if you just put an image, and if you just introduce an image to the machine, it evaluates this image with a multi-layer computational system, and it image could be understood by the machine with autodidactic quality. And at the end, you train the machine and then test it, and it will understand the image by itself. So image recognition is one of the cognitive functions of the deep learning. So what kind of image we have? We have medical scans, as you know, and as a pediatric surgeon, we also have, as an endoscopic surgeon, we have endoscopic images and also open surgery image from pictures from the open surgery and pathologic slice. We can use all these things. In this study, actually, we try to understand whether this machine can work in medical scans. So we just use uretronography. You know, this is a method preferred for the upper urinary tract obstruction. We use this medical scan as a model. So what we were asking, we just want machine to understand and detect the luminal organ as an image. And this was the kidney, and locate its anatomic position, whether it's a right, left, or in anatomic position. Also, we try to understand whether the lumen is empty or filled with a contrast agent. So determine whether the pelvis and calyx empty or filled. So we specified 1,260 renal images of this 36 patients have been annotated, and as a left or right side and filled and empty pelvis and calyx. So as in the first part of our study, we try to detect the kidney. We actually teach the machine to detect the kidney and differentiate the right and left side. And we just turn the sensitivity, precision, and advanced score. And in the second part of our study, in group 1, we just determine, we ask the machine to understand whether the pelvis is filled. In group 2, whether it is empty or not. And image recognition and differentiation performance of the machine for filled and empty pelvis and calyx were tested by that way. So this is some technical points. We use the Python programming language and convolutional neural network to supervised training. Supervised training means in artificial intelligence you teach the machine. In unsupervised one, the machine can understand by itself. So in this method, in supervised training, we teach the machine by annotation. So as a result, we annotated 1,260 images, and mostly are for training and validation, and only 126 for test group. And the sensitivity was 94%, 96% precision, and 95% advanced score. So this is a technical point, it's the pipeline of the architecture. You just give input, and the machine works, and at the end, it understands that this is the kidney, this is the site, whether it's a filled or empty. So for training and validation, we selected 600 images, and for testing for 116 images. And following the training, in the second part of our study, whether we just asked the machine, can you understand whether it's filled or empty? The success of the machine was 88% to understand whether it's complete or partially filled. But the problem was, actually it was also good, 66%, but the problem was the machine has difficulty in understanding if it is empty or not, the lumen is empty or not. As a conclusion, we can say that deep learning algorithm may detect and define the site and location of the luminal organs. It has 96% precision. If you annotate by experienced physician, and if you use a good number of input, then you get high accuracy. Also, this study shows that deep learning model was successful in determining lumen field with the radiolabel agent. I mean, machine can understand whether it's filled or partially filled. But the problem, the weakness of the model was that it cannot understand whether it's empty or not. So we are just planning to do some time series studies, filled, partially filled, and empty. As a conclusion, we may use the feature patch-based annotation to get better machine learning. And also, as a last conclusion, we may say that deep learning model will improve assessment of medical scan with a better image recognition. And but we still need to work a lot to improve the thank you.
Thank you very much. What an expert in artificial intelligence or economy. And you say for the next presentation, which is digital reality soft tissue simulation framework for the endoscopic procedures.
Thank you. Okay. Next one.
Next presentation, please. Next presentation, please.
We have another study. Actually, we have a team including several engineers and also data scientists. Our team, together with our team, we just worked another study, another technology study. Our title is Virtual Reality Soft Tissue Simulation Framework for Pediatric Endoscopic Procedure. Something disclosed. In our study, the aim was designing and producing virtual reality simulators for the intravenous and laparoscopic procedure in pediatric endoscopic surgery. In this specific work, our aim was producing a basic VR simulation framework of a model for endourological interventions. So, to explain what we need to engineers and data scientists, we collected some real images and videos of endourological procedures and we were just planning to do some 3D virtual reality simulation with Google. So just not only the operation, pictures from the operation, also outside of the operating table, inside of operating theater, we collected pictures and the videos, and then as a method, as a framework, we use the position-based dynamic soft tissue simulation. Actually, this is something new also for the engineers. This position-based dynamic soft tissue simulation, and that allows us to simulate big volumes of soft tissue in real time with high resolution. What it means, I will just tell you what it means in the future. Okay, simulating rigid objects in computer are easy actually, but as you see on the right side, it was really difficult to simulate the soft tissue. And we need the soft tissue simulation for laparoscopy and also endoscopy. So thanks to position-based dynamic techniques and rapid development of GPU technology, in computer, to make this technology, you really need a really huge. You have rich data and you need a really good machine and GPU technology actually. And so how this simulation works? Let me tell you how this simulation works. Interaction of the tissue with endoscopic instrument can be simulated. We have tissue, organs, and also some instruments. So we have stress and strains. When we are just doing some simulators, we have stress and strain on the tissue, and this could be measured also. This is a realistic rendering of the procedure might provide real-time training. You see a laparoscopy work here, extraluminally, the instrument just touching the organ, and you can simulate the soft tissue with this technique. So, how this works, kidney and lumen organs are formed from the mesh, and mesh composed of many triangles. And triangle-triangle collision for the organs, and triangle and collider, its instrument collision, are the basis of the real-time dynamic endoscopic simulation. So there are too much data to make this collision, so most engineers make the instrument as a geometrical shape. So while the organ was formed from the mesh composed of many triangles, endoscopic instruments have geometrical shape, not triangles, but sphere, cube, and capsule. And collision of mesh triangles with basic collider shapes in PPD provides a simulation for interaction of tissue and endoscopic instruments. Here's our study. You see upside and downside the real simulation. In your own PDD simulation model, intraluminal anatomy and instrument organ compatibility were obtained, and any modifications such as heat-related phenomenon or even dynamic behavior like muscle contraction could be done. With our experience and increasing GPU performance, it will be possible to simulate all endoscopic and laparoscopic procedures with pediatric surgery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I must say that we're very lucky to have this guy in our committee of research activities.
Thank you. There is you have to go. The last presentation of this session is from Romain. Alexis Dubé speaking. The title is Multi-Center Evaluation and Validation of the Pediatric Holocaust and 30P Rank Laparoscopic Training.
Thank you very much. I am Alexis Dubé and I'm a resident pediatric surgeon in Rouen in France. And I will present a multi-center validation and evaluation of a low-cost and totally 3D print laparoscopic trainer. I have no computer here. To further introduction, we can say that the 3D print is more and more used in the world, and in the training is very important. And for the simulation, you can see the two examples. One here for anesthesia, and in the right for pilotomy, and it's very useful to training and for residents. And I'm looking for a laparotomy trainer that is low cost and I can print with a 3D print, and it didn't exist. So I decided to create mine laparotomy trainer that I will show you. This is a spatial laparoscopic trainer, and this one. It's the sketch that I designed on the software, virtual software. There is only two parts. And here you can see a demonstration. And the particularity of this laparotomy trainer is that we use mobile for the screen and the light of your mobile for the use of the laparotomy trainer. So you can use it everywhere, at home, at your hospital, or at your center. It's very easy to use. And it's very low cost. So I created the sketch and I modelized with several software, and I was helped by two engineers to create this model. I put in with the FDM printer. It is a common printer and in low cost, and it's useful. So the assembly time is almost 10 minutes. There is only two parts you have to assemble. It's very easy to use, and the cost is almost €4 and €1 for the electricity because it's printing during 41 hours. It's a long time, but it's a printer that is work, it's not used. The objective of our study is to demonstrate the non-inferiority of our laparotomy trainer versus a laparotomy trainer validated by the FLS. We want to show not only if there is the same score, but if we can learn on this model. For that, we recruit 51 residents in serology from different cities in Rouen and Caen, and we recruit 10 pediatric surgeons, senior pediatric surgeons from different regions, Caen, Rouen, Lille, and Amiens. There is an external examiner who will take a goal score and the time. At the end of the training, we gave a satisfaction questionnaire. So here you can see the spatial laparoscopic trainer and the right FLS laparotomy trainer. We have done two exercises. The first was a transfer plot, and the second was a precision cut on a compress. We had 51 residents, and 15 was analyzed because we have a lack of information with one, and 10 surgeons was analyzed apart because they don't have a real learning curve, so it's not was interesting. So here you can see the global score on the spatial laparoscopic trainer and the classic laparoscopic trainer. They are almost the same. And here you can see the learning curve, and we have a positive learning curve on the spatial laparoscopic trainer, the same in the classic laparoscopic trainer, but if we compare both, we don't have a significant difference. So we can say that there is learning on our laparoscopic trainer. Here you can see the result of the satisfaction questionnaire. Residents who are satisfied by the utility and they want to refer to another resident. There is a lack of realism because there is two reasons. The first, it was a low fidelity laparoscopic trainer, and the second is we use adult exercise in a laparoscopic trainer, a pediatric laparoscopic trainer. The laboratory have a different possibility and we can transport to train at different surgery. The strength of this model is that it's mobile. You use your phone for the screen and the light, and there is several port positions. It's a very low cost, less than €5, and it's easy to print and to assemble because there is only two parts and there is no support to print. And it's a pediatric laparoscopic trainer. The weakness is that the screen is too small and it's difficult to assess depth with the phone. And we have to have an access to a 3D printer in your center. There is several programs in progress. The first was neurotoscopic training, 3D model, and the second is exercise to put in the laparoscopic trainer. You can see here a transfer plot that you can download on the website Thingiverse for free now, and you can print free. And the third program was the first laparoscopic grasper, totally 3D print in the world. It's the first, and you can see here. And she is 5 millimeter, and she can turn around 360 degrees. It costs less than €1, and it will be printed everywhere very soon. So we can say that the spatial laparoscopic trainer is a low-cost, portable, and easy to assemble and use. The result of this study, and with many participants, provide evidence of the possibility to learn with the spatial laparoscopic trainer. Thank you very much.